Hey everyone, David here. Welcome to Lifestyle and Dominion. Guys, today on this video, we are going to discuss about something that I've been super excited and just ready really to just share my thoughts on it and kind of give my heart and my perspective on it. And that topic is pertaining to the David movie. David is an amazing movie. I'm just going to tell you flat out what I think of it. I think it is wonderful. I think that the take that they had on this movie was just perfect. I believe that to a degree they captured David's character, especially very early on, with that sense of hopefulness and just the resilience to move forward. And it's just, I really appreciate the take they took. And in some ways, it's almost like this view or this take of David is maybe a little different than what people are used to. You know, a lot of people are used to David just being totally fearless and just going for it and all that. And to a degree, I can see why, because, you know, in the scriptures, it does seem to portray as though David had no fear. I think what really makes that sideline is his love for God. You know, that's the number one thing that I can tell you straight off the bat. Scripture really shows David's love for God, and in this movie, you actually do get to see that in a pretty interesting kind of way. Now, the art, the music, guys, look, I'm an animation fanatic. Okay, I love all things pertaining to animation. Now, don't get me wrong, live action movies, yes, they have their place, and yes, there are some things that you can do with live action that just seems silly when it comes to animation. But there is a certain charm to animation that you just can't get from a live action film. So I think that because of that, that's why this movie of David really succeeded in the way that it has. Now, I know a lot of people have different viewpoints pertaining to David's story and how it's portrayed in the movie. And yeah, we're going to discuss that. And surprisingly, as much as I've already stated, I love this movie. Some of you may be very surprised of what I have to say with some of the things that do happen in the movie itself. So in scripture, we see that David, when he approaches King Saul to basically tell him that he will fight the giant, David tells the king that God has always been with him, and that is God that's saved him from the paw of the bear and the lion. And he even talks about how he took a lion out, right? Says he grabbed it by its beard, okay, and then and struck it and killed it. Right now, in this movie, they don't show that. That's one thing I will say. It's a missed opportunity. In my honest opinion. Instead, we got this. David saves the lion. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing, because it does kind of, and I've heard somebody else or seen somebody else comment on this, basically a comment stating that, you know, him saving the lion or sparing the lion shows like his heart as a shepherd. Now, in my honest opinion, because wild animals, specifically lions, they're oftenly viewed as the enemy when it comes to, protecting whether it's a flock of sheep or any kind of, a collective group of a certain animal. So yeah, I do believe that was kind of a missed opportunity in this movie. Honestly, I really do believe that was kind of a missed opportunity. Now, at the same time, I can understand that they were not wanting to do, too much with a kid's movie, but I'm going to be completely honest here, you guys. If you haven't seen Superbook, that's produced by CBN, the Christian Broadcast Network. That show, in one of the earlier episodes, It's an episode of David, and it shows David killing the lion. Okay, so if you need to get that fix, you can go watch Superbook. So yeah, that's where I'm like, I get what they're saying in the terms that they don't want to do too much to where it kind of freaks the kids out. But honestly, I think the kids would not have freaked out from David killing a lion. Just being honest. Now, here's another thing. David does not cut off Goliath's head. Okay. In the scriptures, it does state that not only did he cut his head off, but he even lifted it up above his own head, showing that he was victorious, right? In this movie, they do not do that. And another thing, actually, and it's funny because if you guys haven't already checked out House of David, that is on Amazon, they did a very similar thing here where the Philistine army kind of like as soon as Goliath was defeated, in both respects, in both the David movie and House of David, they did the same thing where the Philistine army started advancing towards David, and then you see the Israelite army rising up behind him. Now, what's interesting about that is Scripture doesn't say that. Scripture says that as soon as Goliath fell and his head was cut off and David lifted it up, the Philistines ran. They ran for their lives, guys. I'm telling you. It says they went for the hills, okay? Not in those exact words, but they did run, okay? So I just find it interesting the fact that they would, in both types of media, in both forms of media, they showed them advancing forward when that was not what actually happened, okay? So in that sense, yeah, not necessarily a missed opportunity. They could have done something to kind of show, some accuracy there. But at the same time, I get it. They're wanting to make it, kid friendly. But going back to Superbook here, David cuts off Goliath's head in Superbook in a kid show. That's kind of why this whole thing about wanting to make it kid friendly doesn't really hold up, you guys. Sorry to say, it doesn't. But all things considered, though, David, although is a very good movie in a very different kind of way. Now, there are other things that they do get right, and then there's other things towards the end of the movie that, that's not what happened. But what I can appreciate about it is that David embraced his full-on, especially towards the end of the movie, he really embraced his position as not so much king, because he was not king yet, but as a shepherd. And you kind of assume he already really grasped that role even when he's young. But when you see him go to save his people from the Amalekites, you kind of get that gist of where David really grasps his role as a shepherd and as a leader, and so in that respect, that's another thing that I do like about the movie. I can't deny the movie is done phenomenally. The story is still intact. Doesn't miss some things, yes, but there's a lot of different Christian media out there over the years that have done the exact same thing. And I don't know if it's just because the creators I don't know if they couldn't see how to go about those certain scenarios, or they really just harp on the defense of, hey, let's make it kid friendly. I don't know. But honestly, guys, that's nothing new. That's been happening for years, ever since Christian media has become a thing. But I would encourage you guys, go and watch the movie. I mean, yes, there are some things you're probably going to gripe about, but the overall message itself is actually really good. And that is basically where even if you feel fear, even if you feel afraid, step forward. Let God be your light, right? And it really does show. It really does showcase in the movie, and that's also another reason why I believe that they really kind of nailed David's character in the movie. Although I will say I don't see them making another part to this story, because David's story afterwards it gets twisted, it gets dark, and then it has a somewhat happy ending. My son absolutely loves the movie. He's like, every chance he gets to be able to watch it, he watches it. when we've downloaded it digitally, so he can pretty much watch it whenever he wants to. So yeah, but it is a great movie, and the music, guys. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I do love music, and I think the music in this movie is top notch. It's absolutely beautiful. I really do like the fact that that somebody has actually gone ahead and outdid Disney. Because Disney is notorious for, or famous, should we say, I guess, for having movies, animated movies, where the characters in the movie are singing. But I'm just glad that somebody actually thought of, you know what, let's do a biblical movie and make it an animated musical. I absolutely love this. So if there's another project out there that may include that, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. However, let's just try to make sure we keep things as accurate as possible, but at the same time, I'm okay with a little bit of creative license stuff, just because, I mean, we don't have every detail from the history, right? That's why people are constantly studying the history and they're discovering certain things, not because there's anything necessarily new per se, but there may be certain perspectives that we didn't have that now we can see what it clearly is, because there was evidence that showed it, right? So, but yeah, guys, in retrospect to this movie, if you have not seen it, go watch it. If you've seen it, what do you think of it? So yeah, guys, David, absolutely love that movie. It is a great one to watch with your family. If you got to see it in theaters, I'm glad you did, because I really believe that was such a unique experience for sure. So, but yeah, guys, check out this movie. It's worth the time. It's worth sitting in front of your couch, or in front of your TV, sorry, on your couch maybe, and just giving it a watch. I promise you, there are some things that you may not like, but the movie itself as a whole will not disappoint you. It's good. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed while watching me geek out about this movie, because I've been hearing about it ever since for the past 2 years that I heard about it being produced, and I'm just glad that we are finally at this point to where we can actually see the movie and watch it. So yeah, with no further ado, guys, be blessed, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.